As the sun dipped below the horizon, the small town of Willow Creek fell into a veil of dusk. The streets, usually bustling with life, seemed hauntingly still. Shadows stretched across the dusty road, creating a sense of unease that hung in the air like a thick fog. A faint sound echoed in the distance, the creaking wheels of the stagecoach approaching, stirring whispers among the townsfolk who had gathered outside the saloon. The stagecoach emerged from the gloom, its once bright paint now dulled by time and travel. It rolled to a halt, dust swirling around it, but something was terribly wrong. There were no passengers aboard, just silence inside the dimly lit interior. The driver, Charlie, a rugged man with a weathered face, stepped down with an anxious look. He glanced back at the coach, his heart racing. The stillness of the evening was broken only by the distant hoot of an owl, as if nature itself sensed the growing dread of what this empty stagecoach might mean for Willow Creek. Charlie took a deep breath, his weathered hands gripping the side of the stagecoach as he lowered himself to the ground. The air was thick with tension, and curious townsfolk began to gather, their faces etched with concern. "What happened?" one man shouted, breaking the uneasy silence, while others exchanged anxious glances. Stepping away from the coach, Charlie turned back to face his passengers' empty seats. The interior was dark and musty, a stark contrast to the lively chatter that usually filled these spaces. As he opened the door wide, revealing nothing but dust and shadows, gasps erupted from the crowd. Whispers fluttered like leaves in the wind. What could have happened to the people who were supposed to be inside? Charlie's heart raced as he scanned the faces of his neighbors, desperate for answers that eluded him. He could sense their fear. It mirrored his own. The stillness of dusk turned heavy with uncertainty as the townsfolk pushed closer, trying to unravel the mystery of this deserted stagecoach and what lay ahead for Willow Creek. Amid the murmurs of concern, a young woman named Clara bravely stepped forward and peeked into the dark interior of the stagecoach. As her eyes adjusted to the dim light, she noticed something glinting on the floor. She knelt down and picked up a handful of passenger tickets, their corners stained with a deep crimson that made her heart race. "Look!" she shouted, holding them up for everyone to see. Gasps rippled through the crowd as people caught sight of the blood-soaked tickets. The air thickened with fear as whispers turned to frantic questions. Who had been aboard? What had happened to them? Charlie, feeling a chill run down his spine, stepped closer to inspect. The sight of those tickets filled him with dread, each one telling a story of lives interrupted. He could see names scrawled on the faded paper, now marred by evidence of violence. The weight of uncertainty settled heavily on Willow Creek, as townsfolk exchanged worried glances, realizing they might be at the center of something far more sinister than they ever imagined. Earlier that day, the stagecoach had departed from the bustling city of Riverbend, filled with lively chatter and anticipation. Passengers laughed as they shared stories, each with their own dreams of what awaited them in Willow Creek. There was the Thompson family, excitedly discussing the reunion they had planned for months. The children, wide-eyed with wonder, watched the scenery change outside the window, unaware of the perils that lay ahead. In another corner sat a mysterious traveler named Lysander, cloaked in a dark coat, lost in thought. He was headed to Willow Creek for reasons known only to him, clutching a small leather bag tightly. Nearby, Mrs. Jenkins, an elderly woman with a twinkle in her eye, spoke of her plans to visit her grandchildren, sharing tales of her family's recent adventures. As the stagecoach rolled along the winding road surrounded by tall trees and sprawling fields, it carried not just passengers but hopes and aspirations. Little did they know that this journey would take a terrifying turn, forever altering their fates. Among the passengers aboard the stagecoach were 3 individuals whose lives were intertwined by fate. The Thompson family, consisting of parents John and Mary, along with their 2 children, eagerly anticipated visiting relatives in Willow Creek for a long-awaited reunion. Their laughter and cheerful banter filled the air, as they shared stories about past family gatherings and what treats awaited them. In stark contrast was Lysander, a mysterious traveler who sat alone in a corner with an aura of secrecy. His dark coat concealed hidden intentions, and he cast occasional furtive glances at the other passengers. Clutching a small leather bag tightly, he seemed lost in thought, unaware of how closely his journey would connect to theirs. Then there was Mr. Grayson, a wealthy merchant returning from a business trip. He appeared polished and confident but harbored his own secrets about a recent deal gone wrong. As the stagecoach continued on its path, the lives of these key passengers were bound together by circumstance, each unaware of the impending danger that loomed just ahead. As the stagecoach rolled along the winding dirt road, a sense of unease began to creep in. Throughout the journey, the passengers noticed odd things that hinted at trouble ahead. The joyful laughter of the Thompson children faded as they spotted strange figures in the trees, shadowy forms watching closely, disappearing just as quickly as they appeared. "Did you see that?" whispered little Timmy, clutching his sister's hand. Unsettled, Mary glanced out of the window but saw nothing more than swaying branches. Meanwhile, Lysander sat quietly, his mind racing with thoughts about the potential dangers on the road. He had heard whispers of bandits targeting travelers in this very area, and every rustle in the underbrush made him tense. He tightened his grip on his leather bag, knowing it contained something valuable that could draw unwanted attention. The sound of snapping twigs echoed in the distance, igniting fears within the passengers. They exchanged anxious glances, feeling the fragile atmosphere shift as an unspoken tension settled over them. Little did they know that dread was only a harbinger of what was to come. As news of the empty stagecoach and the blood-stained tickets spread through Willow Creek, panic set in among the townsfolk. Conversations erupted, filled with fear and speculation. "What if they were attacked by bandits?" someone whispered, while another voice pointed out recent sightings of suspicious figures lurking near the road. Parents clutched their children tightly, their imaginations running wild with terrifying possibilities. The town square, usually a gathering place for laughter and community events, transformed into a hub of anxiety. Folks exchanged hurried glances and whispered rumors that escalated from concern to outright fear. Some prepared to arm themselves for protection, convinced that danger was drawing close. Charlie stood by the stagecoach, overwhelmed by their reactions but understanding their fears. He tried to reassure them, sharing that he had seen nothing amiss during his journey. Yet uncertainty hung heavy in the air. It became clear, the mystery of the missing passengers had ignited an instinctive drive for safety that echoed in every fearful heart in Willow Creek. The once quiet evening now bristled with tension and foreboding. Amid the rising tension in Willow Creek, Sheriff Thompson emerged from his modest office, his weary eyes scanning the crowd. He was a brave man, respected by the townsfolk, yet the weight of his responsibility pressed heavily on his shoulders. With a steady voice, he called for calm, knowing that panic would only worsen the situation. "I need volunteers to help me investigate," he announced, his tone firm but reassuring. The townspeople quieted down, listening intently as he explained the need to follow the stagecoach's route and search for any signs of the missing passengers. Without hesitation, several men stepped forward, eager to assist their sheriff and protect their community. As they gathered their gear and prepared to set out, Sheriff Thompson felt a surge of determination. He knew that time was of the essence. Every moment could mean the difference between rescue and tragedy. The sheriff rallied his team, emphasizing their duty to keep Willow Creek safe, forging a sense of unity that would drive them into the unknown dangers that awaited on the darkening road ahead. As Sheriff Thompson and his team ventured away from the stagecoach, they began to search the surrounding area for any clues that might shed light on the mystery. The fading light of dusk cast long shadows, making it difficult to see, but their determination pushed them forward. Suddenly, one of the volunteers, a young man named Jake, spotted something unusual on the ground. He knelt and examined a series of fresh tracks leading away from the road, their imprint suggesting multiple footprints, some large and others small. "Look at these!" he called out, his excitement breaking through the tension. They followed the tracks deeper into the woods, where they found a child's toy, a small wooden horse, its painted surface chipped and scuffed. It was then that they noticed other items scattered nearby, a torn piece of fabric from a dress and a bloodied handkerchief. Each discovery seemed to tell a story of struggle and desperation. The sheriff's heart sank as he pieced together the clues, realizing that something terrible had indeed happened to the passengers. With each step, they felt the weight of their mission grow heavier, knowing that time was running out. With a heavy heart and his mind racing, Sheriff Thompson led the search party deeper into the woods, each step echoing with uncertainty. The atmosphere thickened with tension as shadows danced among the trees, reminding them of the lives that hung in the balance. He couldn't shake the thought of families waiting anxiously for news, hoping against hope that their loved ones would return unharmed. As they progressed, branches cracked underfoot, and the wind whispered unsettling secrets through the leaves. The sheriff called for silence, urging his team to focus on any sounds that might guide them. Every rustle felt like a warning, heightening their fears of encountering danger. Thompson's thoughts drifted to the Thompson family, Lysander, and Mrs. Jenkins, people with dreams now marred by fear. The chilling reality struck him. They were not just searching for lost souls, but trying to prevent a tragedy that could ripple through Willow Creek forever. With determination burning in his chest, he pressed on, knowing that every moment mattered in their race against time to save those who might still be alive. The search party pressed on through the thickening underbrush, the tension palpable in the air as they moved cautiously. Suddenly, Sheriff Thompson raised his hand to signal a stop, his keen eyes catching sight of something on the forest floor. He approached with a mix of dread and curiosity, urging his team to follow quietly. Scattered around a small clearing were signs of a violent struggle. A broken satchel lay abandoned, its contents strewn about, personal items, letters, and an overturned water flask. A chilling silence enveloped them as they took in the scene, realizing that these belonged to one of the missing passengers. Thompson's heart raced when he spotted more telltale signs. A ripped piece of clothing snagged on a branch, and a deep mark in the soil that suggested a scuffle had taken place. The unmistakable scent of fear hung in the air. Each new discovery painted a picture of chaos and desperation, hinting at the fate of those who had vanished. The sheriff's resolve intensified. They needed to find answers before it was too late. As the search party pressed on, the forest began to thicken, wrapping them in shadows. Suddenly, Jake called out, pointing toward a slight opening in the rock formation ahead. "It looks like a cave," he exclaimed, his voice tinged with excitement and fear. Sheriff Thompson's heart raced as he approached the entrance. It was hidden well among the trees, cloaked in vines. The sheriff exchanged glances with his team, feeling an unspoken urgency between them. It dawned on him that this could be the bandit hideout whispered about in town. Knowing time was of the essence, they carefully advanced into the darkness. Inside, the faint sounds of muffled cries echoed off the cave walls. Thompson's instincts kicked in as they fanned out cautiously. The sight before them confirmed their worst fears. Captured passengers huddled together, their faces pale with terror. The sheriff gripped his lantern tightly, knowing that they had just uncovered a sinister twist in this mystery. A race against time had begun. They needed to free these captives before their captors returned. With determination in his heart, Sheriff Thompson quickly gathered his team in the shadowy cave, outlining their strategy in hushed tones. "We need a distraction," he said, glancing at the group of captives huddled in fear. "If we can create chaos, we'll have a chance to free them." Jake volunteered to create a noise near the cave entrance, using fallen branches and rocks to make it sound like a commotion outside. Meanwhile, the sheriff and two others would stealthily approach the bandits who guarded the captives, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. The air buzzed with a mix of anxiety and anticipation as they prepared for action. As Jake began rattling the branches, the bandits turned their attention toward the entrance of the cave, their eyes narrowing in suspicion. Sheriff Thompson signaled for silence before moving with his team deeper into the shadows. They crept forward, relying on teamwork and bravery to confront the adversaries head-on. With hearts pounding, they understood this would be a pivotal moment in their race to save the passengers and restore peace to Willow Creek. With a sudden clash, Sheriff Thompson and his team surged into the cave, surprising the bandits and quickly overpowering them through their bravery and teamwork. The captives, once huddled in fear, watched in astonishment as their rescuers fought to secure their freedom. After a tense struggle, the bandits were apprehended, and relief washed over the group. Once the danger had passed, the sheriff turned to the frightened passengers, offering reassurances as he helped them to their feet. "You're safe now," he said gently, feeling a wave of gratitude wash over him as he saw the fear fade from their faces. Together, they made their way back toward the entrance of the cave. As they emerged into the light of dusk, word of their success spread swiftly through Willow Creek. Townsfolk gathered at the mouth of the woods, clapping and cheering for their brave sheriff and his team. The atmosphere shifted from fear to celebration as families were reunited. The town rejoiced, grateful for their safety, and a sense of community triumph emerged from the night's harrowing events. In the days following the rescue, the town of Willow Creek slowly began to heal from the wounds of fear. The harrowing experience had bonded the community in unexpected ways, reigniting their sense of unity and resilience. People who once kept to themselves now shared stories, laughter, and an unbreakable camaraderie that echoed through the streets. Sheriff Thompson became a symbol of hope, his bravery inspiring others to stand together against adversity. Families gathered to give thanks for the safe return of their loved ones, reflecting on how quickly joy can turn to terror and back again. They realized that despite the darkness they had faced, their strength lay in their connections to one another. The ordeal served as a reminder that courage often comes in many forms, whether it's standing up to danger or simply reaching out to a neighbor in need. With each passing day, Willow Creek emerged stronger, determined not just to protect their community, but to cherish every moment together. The bonds forged in fear transformed into lasting ties of friendship, ensuring that they would face whatever came next as a united front.